3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin.
They have 2 healers and they have like 7,000
The path leads this
heals.
way. I found my
I
prey.
haven't played W build in forever. Let's play W build. More stacks. Speak. Eat into a loop. That's not big.
Do you want more? My hunt continues.
That's another reason you're hoping they're betting on turnovers from League or Dota. Well, I mean, they're definitely trying to make some money. They're definitely trying to see if they can make any money or not. That's for sure, yeah. That's very clear with the pricing of the new skins that have come out, the Thrall one and this one.
Well done.
It's my mana. Baby steps, indeed. Baby steps, indeed.
Through here.
Get some mana.
Feel my wrath.
They have a lot of stuns, but if their Tychus isn't near, they don't have that much damage after the stun. Don't even need to be that worried when I get stunned. Oh, their Tychus is near, I'm worried. I'm worried. Oh, that time I'm worried. Trying your question again, double soaking solo versus rotating 4. Is that map or comp dependent? As in sometimes the solo stays in one lane and the 4 rotate for double soak? I think the solo should... I think it's more camp dependent than anything. I would say that's more camp dependent. I think generally speaking though, your solo laner should be the one that's double soaking almost always. The exception might be if you have like a Hogger and he needs to do a camp and no one else on your team can do a camp. Then the Hogger can rotate around doing camps instead of soaking until the camps are done. But then he'll go back to soaking when the camps are done, so... realistically, it should always be the solo laner double soaking on any lane map. Even doing the camp is rotating. Right. If you see a solo laner that's just staying in one lane on a 3-lane map and just pushing and not ever rotating for camps or so, that guy's just bad. I mean, maybe he's getting value, but that's not optimal play. You're just looking at someone who doesn't know what they're doing. What's up, Dom? First time watching live? Oh, well, the live stream. Have any maps been re-added? Not yet. They said they're gonna do it in the next few weeks though, so I expect they'll be doing it in a couple weeks. They're probably gonna add some of the reworked ones.
The path leads this way.
Your biggest gripe with this patch is it somehow makes people group even less for objectives, leaving their team to 4 versus 5. Those Nazibos and Asmos are having the time of their lives killing minions. So this is the really interesting part of this patch. And this is the part that I'm worried about. So most people do think like you, Resolute. You know, what you're thinking is not exactly incorrect, but it's not exactly correct either. Most people feel the same way that you do. Most people, when there's an objective, they want all 5 people on their team to be there. And that's just how HOTS has been for a long time. However, the interesting part here is it's not always best to have 5 people at the objective. HOTS is not a game where the best move is to have 5 people at objective, every objective all the time. It's actually usually better to have one person soaking. Even if you have one person split pushing, that can be fine. It's not like that's just a bad play. That can be a good play if the rest of the team doesn't die. So when you look at Diamond games, Master games, Grandmaster games, most of the time when there's an objective spawning, there's not 5 people there. There'll be 4 people there. The solo laner will still be soaking. And that actually gives your team a bigger advantage than if all 5 are there. So what they're trying to do with this patch is they're actually trying to make people play the game better. But the problem is, people are so used to playing the game just as a 5-man group. You know, I don't, like, the thing is, I don't know if they want to play the game like, technically more correct, you know? Like, most people like just having 5 people at the objective, just like you. Like, most people just like having their whole team there. They like having the fight there. Most people don't care about soak. They don't know what double soak is well enough to the point where they want someone to split off the double soak. Most people, when they see someone split off, they get mad. They don't get happy. So yeah, that's the interesting thing about this match. Technically, they're actually trying to make you play better. That Nazeebo and Nazmodan is not as useless as you think they are. Now, they might be useless sometimes. It really depends on what they do. But sometimes, if they're not there, that's actually better. If your team doesn't all die. The problem is, in those situations, what you're supposed to do if you're 4 versus 5 at a tribute is you're supposed to play safer, right? You see you have 4, you see enemy team has 5. Your team is supposed to play safer and just maybe stall a little bit. Maybe you can stall for 30 seconds and then you'll lose the tribute eventually. In those 30 seconds, your split pusher could take like a fort. And the idea is that fort that the Asmodan took on top lane, while you guys are 4v5 bot lane, if none of you guys died, that fort is worth more than the tribute you lost, right? So that's actually a good trade for your team. So that's how you're supposed to play HOTS at the high level. But what actually happens is your whole team doesn't know that you're 4v5, or they don't care that you're 4v5, and they just run it down like apes anyways. And then they all die. And then instead of just losing 1 tribute for the fort, now you've lost 1 tribute and 4 heroes for the fort. And that's not worth it anymore. But that is not entirely the fault of the Azmodan or the Nazeebo that chose to not come. That's not just his fault. That's actually all of your faults too. Because if you knew you should have known your 4v5. And if you know, you shouldn't run it down like monkeys, you know? But you do. That's just how everyone plays HOTS. Y'all monkeys. No offense. But yeah, that's the interesting thing about this patch. They're trying to make you play better. I don't know if that's gonna work. I kind of feel like HOTS players are too used to playing suboptimal. So I really don't know if them trying to force you to play better is gonna work. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now this is not always the case though. There are some objectives where it is better to have all 5. Like if it's, you know, if it's the first curse or the second curse, it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually curse your team. You don't need 5. But if it's the third one, the one that actually curses your team, then you do kind of want all 5 because that one is a much bigger deal. So you know, there's like nuances to this. But the point is, it's not always going to be the same. You don't always want 5 there. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you might not. If you're trying to play off. We dodge again? We did. We accidentally dodged. We're making good progress though. One more game and then we're good. Why we ran to? I mean, I don't really feel like that's a ran. I'm just explaining how HOTS is played at different levels. GG. Alright, four more. Honestly, if